net migration could hit 700,000 in new figures this week, fueling the Tory civil war in more bad news for Rishi Sunak. Internal forecasts suggest the official estimate will rise to a record level, surpassing last year's 606,000, despite repeated pledges from politicians to bring the number down. It is believed a major factor behind the sharp rise is the number of visa extensions for work, study or family reasons, with a 50% increase in the number of applicants successfully lengthening their permission to stay in Britain. The surge could prove damaging for the Prime Minister after Suella Braverman claimed she lobbied for a series of measures to cut legal migration, but failed to win backing from Downing Street. And just 1 week into the role, the newly appointed Foreign Secretary, David Cameron, is already threatening to get tough on European human rights judges if they move to thwart the government's Rwanda plan. Well, this will be very, very bad news for Rishi Sunak because whatever the reason, it's only a few months ago we learned, while we were all getting our knickers in a twist about, oh my God, 40, 50,000 migrants came across in illegal boats and dinghies. We suddenly discovered that 1,100,000 migrants had come in legally over that year.
Last 2 years,
500 returned. So that was a net increase in the population of this country of 600. Now we're learning that over the past year, the net increase is 700,000. So for whatever reason, it's going up. And this is staggering. This presumably means about 1.2 million people arrived this year. And this year, 700,000 will stay. And this is going to spell massive problems for Sunak. He needs to do something about it. He needs to get less lenient with these people.
I mean, it's 10% of the population on an annual basis. I mean, it doesn't matter whether you're a lefty, a righty, whatever. Everyone can go, well, how's that going to work?
It's not sustainable, is it?
You can't sustain that. And what's extraordinary, I mean, bad news for Rishi Sunak, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise because all of these people are perfectly legal and legit. We're not talking about people coming over the channel. This is legal migration, people with visas, people with work permits, people who've been documented to come here, and some will be amazing, I'm sure.
Half of them are students.
Well, I was about to say, here's the difficulty. Students, I get it, it's a multi-billion-pound industry, further education in this country, so, you've got to play that one a little bit by ear. However, bearing in mind, yes, top scientists, doctors, clinic, all that kind of thing, I get that, but 700,000 or 300,000 that are left from the student. I mean, who are all those? I'd be intrigued to know, why did the government of here not say to us, do you know what, it's a big number, but they came in because the government allowed these people in, so they shouldn't be scratching their head. They know the numbers because they gave out the documentation.
Well, absolutely, but this also relates to, a shortage of workers that we have here, doing the kind of work that, I hate to say it, a lot of people say that British people don't want to do.
Yep.
And so they're plugging those gaps, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in the NHS, and those are jobs that are infrastructure jobs that have to be done. And we are addicted to this kind of cheap labour. So we're handing out these visas and saying that these people should come and do these jobs. And they are part of our infrastructure.
That was the point that Suella Braverman made when she was criticising Rishi Sunak, that she actually proposed an increase in the minimum salary that you can offer someone to have, to be able to issue them a work visa, to increase it so you don't have this influx of cheap labour. But at the end of the day, we should have a conversation about actually what we're willing to give to stem the flow of this labour, because we still have job vacancies in this country, so it's not like they're not coming to do anything. But I think we need to talk about the social impacts, because that's what bothers me. The conversation about social cohesion and our values and whether the culture is going to be diluted because we have these people coming from other parts of the world, which, is fine, but are they really integrating into Britain? So the UK's birth rate is 1.56, and we know that a replacement rate is 2.1. So actually, to maintain your population, you need to have a birth rate of 2.1. We're way below that, but our population is not being maintained, it's growing. So that gap is not only being filled by people from outside, it's also increasing as well.
I think that's a very valid point. And also I think your point, Vera, about reliant on cheap labour is, there are some systemic changes that need to happen to the way our economy runs. I do just want to point out it's 1%, not 10%, just in case we get people...
Sorry, yes, mathematically. Well, that's why I didn't get the countdown gig.
But 1% is still a lot.
As opposed to what?
Yeah.
Oh, mathematically, yes.
That's a lot.